Standing at the crossroads of Eastern Europe, Moldova guards one of the continent's most intriguing secrets. While economists debate its GDP and politicians discuss its future, there's something else that stops visitors in their tracks, something that has quietly earned this nation a reputation whispered across continents. The women of Moldova possess a magnetism that defies simple explanation, a blend of Slavic elegance and Latin warmth that creates an unforgettable presence. But this allure is just the beginning of Moldova's story, and what lies beneath might surprise you even more. The hidden jewel of Eastern Europe. Moldova sits nestled between Romania to the west and Ukraine to the north, east, and south. This landlocked nation covers just over 33,000 square kilometers, making it one of Europe's smallest countries. Yet size means nothing when it comes to impact. The capital, Chisinau, pulses with life in the heart of the country, while the landscape unfolds in gentle hills, vast vineyards, and mysterious forests that seem untouched by time. The Prut River marks the western frontier with Romania, while the Dniester River carves through the eastern territories, creating natural boundaries that have shaped history for centuries. But here's what most people don't know about Moldova's position on the map, and it changes everything about how you see this country. Moldova occupies a strategic position that empires have fought over for millennia. The Romans knew it, the Ottomans coveted it, and the Soviets controlled it. Today, this geographical advantage means Moldova stands at the meeting point of cultures, creating something entirely unique. The country's borders were redrawn countless times throughout history, and each conquest left its mark not just on the land, but on the people themselves. This mixing of bloodlines, this constant flow of different peoples through the same territory, created something extraordinary. The genetic diversity here is remarkable, and it shows in ways that capture attention immediately. What makes Moldova different? The nickname, Europe's best-kept secret, gets thrown around casually in travel circles. But Moldova has earned something more specific. Some call it the wine cellar of Eastern Europe, and that's accurate. The country has the largest wine cellars in the world, stretching for over 200 kilometers underground. But there's another title, one spoken more quietly, but with more conviction. Moldova is often called the land of the most beautiful women in Eastern Europe, and once you visit, you understand why. The combination of genetics, culture, and tradition has created a population where natural beauty seems almost unfairly common. Dark hair, striking features, and an elegance and movement that seems innate rather than learned. But physical appearance is only part of the equation, and what completes it is something deeper. The women here carry themselves with a particular kind of confidence. It's not arrogance, but rather a quiet self-assurance born from resilience. Moldova has faced economic hardships that would break many nations, yet the people, especially the women, maintain their dignity and grace. They value family, education, and personal growth. Many speak multiple languages: Russian, Romanian, English, and sometimes French or Italian. Intelligence paired with beauty creates a powerful combination. And in Moldova, this combination is the norm rather than the exception. Walk through Chisinau on any given afternoon, and you'll see what visitors struggle to put into words: an abundance of stunning women going about their daily lives, each one seeming ready for a fashion magazine cover. The geography that shaped a nation. Moldova's landscape tells a story of agricultural abundance and natural beauty. Rolling hills dominate the terrain, covered in vineyards that produce some of Europe's finest wines. The Cadru Forest region in the central part of the country offers dense woodlands where oak, ash, and linden trees create a canopy that has sheltered wildlife and people for thousands of years. Rivers crisscross the land, providing irrigation and transport routes that made Moldova prosperous in ancient times. The climate here is continental, with warm summers and cold winters, perfect for growing grapes and other crops. But there's something unusual about Moldova's geography that most people miss entirely, something that explains a lot about the country's character. The soil here, black earth called Chernozem, is some of the richest on the planet. This agricultural gift should have made Moldova wealthy beyond measure. Instead, history dealt this small nation a difficult hand. Independence came late, in 1991 after the Soviet Union collapsed, and the transition proved brutal. Factories closed, the economy contracted, and many young people left to find work abroad. Yet those who remained, particularly the women, became the backbone of society. They kept families together, maintained traditions, and ensured that Moldovan culture survived despite the hardships. This strength under pressure created something remarkable, a population of women who are not just beautiful, but also incredibly resilient and capable. A journey through Moldova's must-see places. Chisinau, the capital, demands attention first. This city of approximately 700,000 people combines Soviet-era architecture with modern developments and ancient Orthodox churches. The Cathedral of Christ's Nativity, built in the 1830s, stands as a symbol of faith and perseverance, having survived multiple attempts at destruction during the Soviet period. Stefan Selmer's Central Park offers a green oasis in the city center where locals gather to socialize, and it's here you'll truly see Moldova's social fabric. Young professionals, elderly pensioners, and families with children all share the same spaces, and yes, the women you'll see here confirm everything you've heard about Moldovan beauty. But Chisinau is just the beginning, and what lies beyond the capital will surprise you. Orhil Vechi sits about 60 kilometers from the capital and represents one of Moldova's most spectacular historical sites. This archaeological complex features cave monasteries carved directly into limestone cliffs overlooking the Route River. Monks have inhabited these caves since the 13th century, and visiting feels like stepping back in time. The view from the cliffs takes your breath away, rolling green hills extending to the horizon, the river winding below, and the sense of peace that seems to emanate from the ancient stones. This is where you understand Moldova's spiritual heart, and often you'll encounter local women who serve as guides, their knowledge of history matching their striking presence. Wine country and underground wonders. Craiova and Molestii Mysai offer something found nowhere else on Earth. These underground wine cities stretch for incredible distances beneath Moldova's surface. Craicova's cellars extend for 120 kilometers, while Molestii Mysai hold the Guinness World Record with nearly 200 kilometers of underground wine galleries. But here's what makes this truly extraordinary, and it's not just the length. These aren't ordinary cellars. They're actual underground streets with traffic signs, wide enough for cars to drive through, all carved from limestone. The temperature stays constant year-round, perfect for aging wine. Moldova's winemaking tradition stretches back over 5,000 years, making it one of the oldest wine-producing regions in the world. The cellars contain millions of bottles, some over 100 years old, and touring them feels like exploring a subterranean palace dedicated to Bacchus himself. The wine culture here isn't just about production, it's woven into social life. Moldovans celebrate with wine, commemorate with wine, and welcome guests with wine. Every family has its own wine recipe passed down through generations. During harvest season in September and October, the entire country transforms into one massive celebration. Villages hold festivals, families gather to pick grapes, and traditional songs fill the air. And here, during these celebrations, you see Moldovan women in their element, wearing traditional folk costumes embroidered with intricate patterns, dancing traditional horas, and embodying a kind of beauty that's both timeless and utterly present. The combination of tradition, celebration, and natural grace creates moments that visitors never forget. The traditions that define Moldova. Moldovan culture draws from Romanian roots while incorporating Slavic influences, creating something distinctly its own. The language, primarily Romanian written in Latin script, sounds musical and expressive. Russian is widely spoken, a legacy of Soviet times, and this bilingualism gives Moldovans access to both Western and Eastern cultural spheres. Traditional music features instruments like the nai, a pan flute, and the kabza, a stringed instrument that produces haunting melodies. Folk dances, especially the ora, bring communities together in circles of celebration. But there's a tradition here that explains a lot about why Moldovan women carry themselves the way they do, and it goes back centuries. In Moldovan culture, women have always held a special place as keepers of tradition and family honor. The traditional household, while patriarchal in structure, recognized women's central role in maintaining culture, raising children, and managing domestic affairs. This created a cultural expectation of grace, capability, and strength in women. Girls grow up learning traditional crafts like embroidery and pottery alongside modern skills. They're taught that beauty without character means nothing, that intelligence without kindness is worthless. This cultural emphasis on well-rounded development creates women who are not just physically attractive, but genuinely interesting to talk with, capable of discussing literature, politics, art, and philosophy with equal ease. The combination proves irresistible to visitors who expect one thing and discover something far more substantial. The reality behind the beauty. Moldova struggles economically. There's no denying this fact. It's one of Europe's poorest countries by GDP per capita, with an average monthly salary that would shock Western Europeans. Many Moldovans work abroad, sending money home to support families. This economic reality shapes everything, including why so many stunning women here remain open to meeting foreigners. It's not desperation, as some might assume, but pragmatism combined with genuine openness. Moldovan women value stability, ambition, and character in potential partners. Foreign men, particularly from Western Europe and North America, represent these qualities. But here's what surprises most men who visit Moldova looking for romance, and it changes their entire perspective. These women aren't looking for rescue or sugar daddies. They're educated, often holding university degrees, and they work hard. What they seek is partnership with someone who appreciates both their beauty and their substance. The stereotype of the desperate Eastern European woman looking for a Western ticket out doesn't apply here. Instead, you find women who know their worth, who bring intelligence and capability to relationships, and who expect mutual respect. Men over 40 often find this particularly appealing, the combination of youthful beauty with mature values. But Moldova offers far more than romantic possibilities, and missing the broader picture means missing the country's true magic. Moldova in the continental context. Within Eastern Europe, Moldova occupies a unique position. It's poorer than its neighbors, yes, but it's also more authentic, less touched by mass tourism and commercialization. While Prague drowns in tourist groups and Budapest becomes increasingly expensive, Moldova remains remarkably affordable and genuinely welcoming. A high-quality meal costs a fraction of what you'd pay elsewhere. Accommodation is inexpensive but comfortable. People here treat visitors with curiosity and warmth rather than cynical opportunism. This authenticity extends to everything, including interactions with locals. The women you meet in Chisinau aren't jaded by constant tourist attention because tourism here remains relatively modest. This means genuine connections are possible, real conversations happen, and experiences feel authentic rather than staged. Compared to Romania, Moldova is less developed but more traditional. Compared to Ukraine, it's more stable and welcoming despite the frozen conflict in Transnistria, a breakaway region in the east. Compared to Russia, it's freer and more open to the West. Moldova occupies a sweet spot, Eastern European enough to maintain traditional values and stunning genetics, but Western-leaning enough to be accessible and safe for visitors. For men seeking both travel adventure and the possibility of meaningful connections with beautiful women, Moldova offers what might be Europe's best value proposition. The country delivers extraordinary experiences at modest prices, and every element, from wine tastings to historical sites to social encounters, exceeds expectations. The food culture and social life. Moldovan cuisine reflects the country's agricultural abundance. Mamalaga, a cornmeal dish similar to polenta, serves as a staple, often accompanied by cheese and sour cream. Sarmale, cabbage rolls filled with meat and rice, appear at every celebration. Plasini, savory or sweet pastries, can be found in every bakery. The food is hearty, flavorful, and deeply satisfying, peasant cuisine elevated through centuries of refinement. But eating in Moldova is never just about food. It's about community, conversation, and connection. Meals here last hours, with multiple courses, endless wine, and stories shared around tables that seem to expand to accommodate anyone who shows up. And at these tables, you'll find Moldovan women displaying another aspect of their character, the ability to create warmth and welcome that makes strangers feel like family. The restaurant scene in Chisinau has improved dramatically in recent years. Modern establishments serving international cuisine sit alongside traditional restaurants where folk bands play and dancers perform. Nightlife exists for those seeking it, with clubs and bars catering to various tastes. But the real social life happens in more relaxed settings. Cafes where people linger over coffee for hours, parks where friends gather on summer evenings, and cultural events where music and art bring communities together. For visitors, particularly those over 40, this less frenetic social scene proves refreshing. Conversations happen without shouting over music. Connections form without the pressure of nightclub dynamics. And everywhere, those remarkably beautiful women, engaged in real life rather than performing for tourists. Moldova, a poor country with beautiful women travel documentary. This is the paradox at Moldova's heart. Economic statistics tell one story: poverty, immigration, and struggle. But walk the streets of Chisinau or any Moldovan town, and a different truth emerges. Despite limited resources, people here maintain dignity and hope. The women, in particular, embody this contradiction. Stunning beauty, thriving despite economic hardship, elegant fashion sensed despite modest budgets, and optimistic spirits despite difficult circumstances. Moldova is indeed a poor country by European standards, but it's rich in things that matter more: human warmth, cultural depth, and yes, beautiful women whose appeal goes far beyond surface aesthetics. This combination of economic accessibility and exceptional human quality creates opportunities found nowhere else in Europe. The country delivers experiences that would cost 5 times as much in Western Europe, yet the experiences themselves often prove more genuine and memorable. For men, particularly those over 40, Moldova represents something increasingly rare in modern Europe, a place where traditional values remain strong, where women appreciate mature men, and where beauty and substance coexist naturally. The women here aren't chasing celebrities or looking for Instagram-worthy adventures. They want real connections, stable relationships, and partnerships built on mutual respect. They're not interested in playing games, and they expect men to be equally straightforward. This directness, combined with their beauty and capability, creates a dating environment that many Western men find refreshing after years of navigating modern dating culture elsewhere. But even for those not seeking romance, Moldova offers enough history, wine, and culture to justify multiple visits. The Transnistria question. No honest discussion of Moldova can ignore Transnistria. This narrow strip of land along the eastern border with Ukraine declared independence in 1990 and fought a brief war with Moldova in 1992. The conflict froze, and Transnistria remains unrecognized by any UN member state. It functions as an independent entity with its own government, currency, and military backed by Russia. For visitors, this creates an unusual opportunity. You can technically visit a country that doesn't officially exist. The region feels like stepping into the Soviet Union, with statues of Lenin, hammer, and sickle emblems, and Soviet-era architecture perfectly preserved. It's safe for tourists, just unusual. But here's what most people don't know about Transnistria, and it connects to Moldova's broader story. The women in Transnistria share the same striking beauty as those in the rest of Moldova. The artificial political division hasn't created genetic differences. What it has created is an even more challenging economic situation. making women from this region particularly interested in opportunities beyond their frozen conflict homeland. Visiting Tiraspol, Transnistria's capital, offers surreal experiences. Soviet aesthetics combined with modern smartphones, communist symbolism alongside capitalist businesses, and everywhere, those remarkable women navigating a bizarre political reality with grace and determination. For adventurous travelers, Transnistria adds another layer to the Moldova experience, but the main country itself offers more than enough to fill any itinerary. The seasons of Moldova. Moldova transforms with each season, offering different appeals throughout the year. Spring, April through June, brings flowering orchards and perfect weather for exploring countryside monasteries and historical sites. The entire country blooms, and the air fills with the scent of apple and cherry blossoms. Summer, July through August, can be hot, but this is festival season when every town hosts celebrations, music fills the air, and locals spend evenings outdoors. Autumn, September through November, is harvest time and arguably Moldova's best season. The vineyards turn golden, wine festivals happen constantly, and temperatures remain comfortable. Winter, December through March, sees snow covering the landscape, creating postcard scenes, though many tourists avoid this season. But winter in Moldova has its own charm, especially around Orthodox Christmas on January 7th, when traditions come alive in ways unseen elsewhere in Europe. Each season offers different opportunities to experience Moldovan culture and meet locals. Summer festivals create natural social opportunities. Autumn wine tours often include intimate gatherings where visitors share meals with winemaker families. Winter holidays bring people together in warm homes where hospitality rules. Spring's mild weather makes exploring cities and countryside equally pleasant. For visitors interested in meeting Moldovan women, summer and autumn offer the most opportunities, though winter's indoor culture creates different but equally valid possibilities for connection. The key is that Moldova remains welcoming year-round, never suffering the tourist overcrowding that plagues more famous destinations. Practical realities for visitors. Moldova welcomes visitors from most countries without visa requirements for stays up to 90 days. The airport in Chisinau connects to major European cities through various airlines, though direct flights remain limited. Most visitors arrive via connecting flights through Bucharest, Istanbul, or Vienna. Once in country, transportation is affordable. Taxis cost a fraction of Western European prices, though ride-sharing apps offer even better value. Public transportation exists, but can be confusing for non-locals. Many visitors choose to hire drivers for day trips, a service that costs remarkably little and provides cultural insights drivers freely share. Accommodation ranges from Soviet-era hotels to modern boutique properties, all priced far below comparable options elsewhere in Europe. A high-quality hotel room rarely exceeds €50 per night, while budget options start around €20. Safety concerns prove largely unfounded. Moldova has low violent crime rates, and tourists face minimal risk. Petty theft exists, as everywhere, but remains uncommon. The biggest challenges are language barriers outside the capital and the sometimes chaotic traffic in Chisinau. For single men visiting, the dating scene requires some navigation. While Moldovan women are indeed remarkably beautiful and often interested in meeting foreign men, approaching requires respect and genuine interest. This isn't Thailand or the Philippines. The women here expect courtship, not transactions. Dating apps work, though meeting women through social activities, wine tastings, cultural events, or simply cafes often proves more effective. The key is authentic interaction rather than obvious sex tourism behavior, which locals find offensive and counterproductive. The future of Moldova. Moldova stands at crossroads. The country has applied for European Union membership, hoping integration will bring economic development and stability. Relations with Russia remain complicated by Transnistria and energy dependence. The population continues aging as young people emigrate for opportunities abroad. Yet despite challenges, Moldova shows resilience. Small businesses thrive, the wine industry expands, and tourism gradually increases. The women who remain are often those most committed to building Moldova's future: educated professionals, entrepreneurs, and creative talents who choose to invest in their homeland despite easier options elsewhere. These women represent Moldova's hope, and getting to know them means understanding the country's potential beyond current difficulties. For visitors, Moldova's challenges create opportunities. The country needs tourism, welcomes visitors genuinely, and offers value that can't be matched elsewhere in Europe. Those who visit now experience authentic Moldova before mass tourism potentially changes it. They meet people who remember them individually rather than as anonymous tourists in a crowd. They discover places not yet overrun or sanitized for tourist consumption. And for men seeking connections with beautiful women, they find options unavailable in Western Europe: educated, traditional, stunning women who value mature men and seek meaningful relationships rather than casual encounters. This window may not remain open indefinitely, making now the ideal time to experience Moldova. Thank you so much for spending this time with us discovering Moldova. Now I want to hear from you. Which city or country are you watching this video from? What are your thoughts about Moldova after learning about it? Drop a comment below and share your perspective. Also, right near the like button, you'll see the hype button. Click it to help our channel grow and reach more people. It's completely free and only takes a second. We really appreciate that support from you. And if you're hungry for more incredible travel discoveries and fascinating curiosities from around the world, click on one of the videos we're showing on your screen right now. Each one is packed with surprising facts and hidden gems you won't want to miss. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.